These are Simpsons characters that have died. Remember Amber, the woman Homer married when he was in Vegas with Ned? Yeah, well, she's dead. Jazzy and the Pussycats starts with the Simpsons going to Amber's funeral.
So how did Liquor Mommy die?
Stop calling her that.
Oh, Marge is still fuming about that. Lenny tells them how she died in front of the "Do not stand up on the roller coaster" sign.
She overdosed right in front of it. Oh, class all the way.
She's not letting it go.
Marge, could you let it go? You won. She's dead.
She won't win until the memory of her is erased from Homer's brain. The funeral goes how it goes, but then Bart starts playing with a ball and it ends up in Reverend Lovejoy's throat. Unfortunately, this somehow ends with half the church having balls stuck in their throats.
You've raised a savage beast! Yeah, put a leash on him, lady!
Homer always putting more fuel to the fire. They take Bart to a psychiatrist who prescribes an unorthodox method. They are surprised to see the drum kit.
Drumming demands energy and concentration, one of which Bart has and one of which Bart needs.
He's spot on about that. Bart really enjoys playing the drums, maybe even a bit too much.
So it's a noise war he wants, huh? And I'll throw in some rush hour traffic!
I don't see how this solves anything, but I guess it's Homer logic.
Sleep tight, my angel!
Marge would have a better chance of sleeping on the street. The next morning, Lisa suggests taking Bart with her to the children's bebop brunch at Jazzy Good Times. They go together, and Bart's actually enjoying playing with Lisa.
Just may be the second best player up here. In case you're wondering who the best one is, it's me.
Always full of herself. After their performance, two jazz musicians approach them and ask Bart to play with them.
Oh, I can't believe it, brother.
Lisa tells Marge she's starting to lose it. Bart's been on the cover of 2 jazz magazines.
Here's the only thing I've been on the cover of.
Well, maybe your dreams wouldn't be denied if you actually didn't give up after Bart's been given a spotlight. Marge suggests that they go and get a puppy for her. She picks a cute puppy, but then has a dream about the one she didn't pick.
You picked looks over personality, youth over experience, and now I'm going to die.
That's one mean puppy, if you ask me. The next day, she goes back to the shelter and picks up the puppy, but then she's guilted into taking one more plus a bird. As she walks home, she saw a bunch of animals, and all of them followed her home.
No one knows you're here, so be quiet.
She's got a literal zoo in the attic. At dinner, Marge heard some noise coming from the attic.
What are those noises? They sound zoological.
Is that even a real word? Lisa ran upstairs to see that Bart and his jazz musician friends were hanging out there. But then, a tiger jumped and bit Bart's arm. Dr. Hibbert tells him that he'll recover, but he won't be able to play again.
I was a great drummer, and now I'm nothing.
Lisa feels bad. She says that she wanted to save animals while Bart focused on being a drummer, but
I never thought the two stories would intersect.
And to think none of this would have happened if Homer's Vegas wife didn't die. Lisa is forced to give out all her animals, but then Chief Wiggum comes. He tells Lisa that the animals need to be gone by midnight tomorrow.
Animal control is gonna round them all up and kill them.
So nothing can go right for Lisa in this episode. Bart's jazz friends want to help him to pay for the surgery to repair nerve damage to his arm, so they decide to host a benefit. As Bart was telling this to Marge, he noticed something was wrong.
Why are you sad? Thinking about your marriage?
Now Bart, that's just savage. Marge explains that she's worried about Lisa.
Oh, I feel weird.
Honey, what you're feeling is called empathy.
Bart doesn't know what to do with his feelings.
How can I end this torture?
Marge says Bart could do something nice for Lisa, so he doesn't feel so bad. Bart throws the benefit, and at the end, he says that all proceeds will go to opening an animal shelter in Lisa's name. Doing good by people you love is never hard, but doing good for people that kind of annoy you, boy oh boy, Homer and Bart are having some trouble with that. Ned gets a job as a teacher, but let's face it, he's not Edna. Left Behind starts with Ned knocking on Simpson's door, completely down and depressed.
What's wrong?
Marge, it's date night!
Squealing like a baby pig. Ned tells them that he lost his job and he doesn't know what to do, so Marge tells them that Homer will help him get a job at the plant. Since they have 0 criteria there, he gets a job in HR immediately. But Ned's standards when it comes to harassment are pretty high.
Did you help this wuss get this job?
I just told him who to call.
They say that Homer was stupid for not giving a recommendation because that would have sunk Ned's application for sure. That would have been a great plan, actually. Homer starts losing it having Flanders at work with him.
Can't take it. Why can't he be like our neighbor on the other side who we never see?
Homer starts praying to God to help him get Flanders fired.
Oh, I reached him.
And indeed, Flanders gets fired. But it wasn't because of Homer's prayers, it was because he told Mr. Burns he should donate some money to charity and not take away from it. But Flanders chooses to remain somewhat optimistic.
I'm sure there's a job out there for a Bob Jones University grad who majored in teaching and...
He goes on to add that he also majored in casting out demons, and that he can speak Aramaic fluently. Yeah, sure there is. He gets a few jobs jobs but gets fired from all of them, and for the same reason. He's just too pure, Christian, and rigid. That night, Marge gets an idea.
I know what job Ned can do.
Well, go tell him. He goes to bed in 5 minutes.
Is that 7:30 p.m.? He's truly a weird person.
You should be what Jesus was.
A god? A prophet? A carpenter? Be more specific, Marge.
I think you should be a teacher.
Like Jesus.
That's actually not a bad idea. But Ned didn't know what he was in for when he got to Bart's class. The kids started bullying him and not letting him teach.
And if you could fire that spitwad after our long relationship, I don't deserve to be a teacher.
Bart throws a spitwad at Ned along with the other kids. Oh, poor Ned. That prayer of Homer's really did the trick.
F is for foolish, and failure, and Flanders. You win.
He should be going to therapy instead of praying. Maybe then he'd have more self-esteem. Bart feels bad for what he did, and so does Homer.
I think I ruined Flanders' life.
Join the club.
Like father, like son, Homer asks Bart to apologize to Flanders.
Why don't you apologize to Flanders? You're the one who prayed for him to get fired.
Why is it so hard to say sorry? They both go and apologize to Ned, but he's lost all his faith in being a good teacher.
I think you could be a great teacher. Almost as good as her.
Oh, Edna, forever missed.
Remember, if you can teach one kid one thing, then today will be a success.
Ned realizes that Edna never gave up, so neither will he. But Ned doesn't know how to get kids to respect him.
Do people respect God? No, they fear him.
It's never personal, just business.
So Bart comes up with a plan that'll get the kids shaken to their core. Flanders tells the class to take their seats, but of course, they don't listen.
How you gonna make us?
I won't. The good Lord will.
Only Bart could think of a good Christian plan that Ned would agree to. Later, Ned thanks Bart for his help and support. He says he knew that Bart was a good boy, and
I respectfully request that those be the last 2 pranks you pull.
You know it, man.
we'll see about that, but that was a precious moment between the two of them, and in loving memory of Edna. It's not hard to miss people who did us good. It's much harder to cry over bad people. Well, it is for most people, but not for Homer. Homer goes undercover and spies on Fat Tony. Donnie Fatso starts with Homer getting a bunch of tickets for the dumbest reasons, so he wanted to get his record clean by bribing a worker at the courthouse. But Chief Wiggum caught him and arrested him.
Homer Simpson, you are hereby sentenced to 10 years in the federal penitentiary.
Maybe he should have just paid the $1,000 in tickets. Chief Wiggum tells him that there is a way for him to get out of it, but it's extremely dangerous.
Simpson, we are currently conducting a 20-year investigation.
And this investigation involved Anthony Fat Tony D'Amico. The FBI agent says they're gonna plant him in Fat Tony's gang as an undercover informant. I already see this ending badly.
I can't go undercover with Fat Tony. He's met me. I've been in his house.
He was your daughter's godfather, for crying out loud. Homer earns Louie's trust by fighting an undercover FBI agent.
Two pants power!
Ow!
If you come out of your beating in one piece, you and I should have a face-to-face.
They don't actually beat him, but it sure sounded like it. Actually, it was just Homer screaming because they didn't let him have a steak. Fat Tony hears of Homer, or his new identity, and escorts him out of prison.
He's in.
Fat Tony takes a liking to Homer. He's sensitive, he carries oregano everywhere with him. Basically 2 things Tony is looking for in a man.
No apology necessary. I am touched. You and me, Nicky, we feel.
But then Homer ruins everything by planting a seed of doubt in Tony's mind. Tony asks him if an informant could get close to him easily.
I got in your gang and you barely know who I am.
That is good counsel indeed.
Maybe he didn't mess it up. For a mob boss, he's too trusting. Fat Tony takes Homer to the biggest job he's been setting up for months.
Just you and me, sharing it together. To heterosexual male friendship, the kind the Greeks wrote about.
Yeah, just like the Greeks intended. Homer realizes that the FBI is gonna get Tony, but he's grown close to him, so he tells him to run. In that moment, Tony connected the dots.
How could you, Nicky? I would have given you everything.
But I guess shock and pain were too much for Tony, and he had a heart attack.
He's dead.
No, you're wrong. Check again.
Poor Homer. If they taught you nothing, never get close to a man with money. He'll give you everything and die on you before you could be added to the will. Homer is now a free man, but the guilt is eating him from the inside.
All I see is Fat Tony and me having drinks at that bar on the beach.
Now Marge is mad because Homer never took her to that beach bar. How about showing some love to your wife who's been missing you the most? Homer goes to Tony's grave where he's abducted by his cousin, Fit Tony. He says he took Homer so he could kill the snitch who snitched on Fat Tony.
I understand. I loved him too.
And just like that, he accepts his fate? No, please don't kill me. No, nothing.
The quicker you kill me up here, the quicker he can kill me down there.
Fit Tony realizes Homer actually cared about Fat Tony, so he lets him go. Homer says that the killers were kind to him.
Well, the people who are supposed to protect me treated me like dirt.
That's the world we live in, unfortunately. Fit Tony took over his cousin's job, but the pressure got to him quickly.
He started to eat. Soon he was known as Fit Fat Tony. Then just Fat Tony for short.
So Fat Tony never ceased to exist. Well, if Homer cried this much for Fat Tony, how much would he cry for one of his parents? Homer's mom comes back to reignite her relationship with her son. Mona Leaves starts with Simpsons coming back home and seeing that their front door is open.
I think someone broke in.
Bart, fetch the defender.
Yes, sir.
Wouldn't it be easier to just have a baseball bat? As they were sneaking through the house, Homer smelled a pie.
Why would a robber make pie?
Who cares? If you kill him, we'll be on TV.
Priorities, people. Homer steps into the kitchen and sees none other than his mom.
You're alive, and you baked a pie.
Homer starts talking to his mom and he tells her he's mad at her for always appearing and then disappearing. Mona says she's sorry she had to pretend she was dead.
I can finally stop running and be your mom.
No thanks.
Ooh, that's cold. That's really cold. Homer says that every time she went away, he felt abandoned, and this time he won't allow that to happen. She tells Homer that he's the most important thing in her life.
That's what your mouth says, but my ears are too smart to believe it.
Mona says she feels bad for missing most of Homer's childhood.
You left a hole in my heart that could never be filled, so I filled it with food. But I'm never full.
That explains a lot. Nothing hurts like your mother abandoning you. Mona tells Homer she hopes he'll forgive her, but he says he can't forgive her. Later, he starts feeling bad about the things he said.
My own mother reached out to me and I rejected her.
He decides to make things right and goes downstairs to give her a card he made.
Are you asleep? Asleep with your eyes open? Mom?
Oh no. Can't say we didn't see that coming, right? Marge can't get Homer to get out of bed after Mona died, so she tells the kids to say something comforting to him.
She would always ask me about you, and I'd say you suck. And she would say, you don't suck that bad.
Well, that's nice. Maybe not so comforting, but still nice. Marge found a box of Mona's things, and among them, there was a CD with her will on it. She left a Swiss knife for Bart, her rebellious spirit for Lisa, and a task for Homer.
Go to Springfield Monument Park and climb to the highest point.
So then she asked him to release her ashes there at exactly 3 o'clock. That seems awfully specific, but okay. Homer grants Mona her last wish and climbs all the way to the top. He says that him and his mom don't know each other that well.
But even when you weren't around, I always felt good knowing you were out there somewhere.
If only he said it to her before she died, thinking he hated her. But when he released the ashes, Homer realized that they stopped a missile launch.
You used me to pull one more stupid hippie protest, didn't you?
Well, she did, but who's gonna reject a dead woman's last wish? So now Homer's locked up, and he didn't manage to stop the launch that's gonna destroy the Amazon forest. But then Bart dropped him the Swiss knife, and Marge and Lisa burned the hemp bag Mona left for Marge so they could mellow out the guards. Mona had it all planned out.
God bless America!
He beats all of the guards and then accidentally presses the self-destruction button.
Well then, Mom, this was for you.
She might not have been the greatest mom, but she surely raised the best son. No one can leave a bruise on our heart quite like our moms, but thankfully, Abe found a way to move on from Mona, so Homer might get a new mommy. Grandpa gets a girlfriend, but it doesn't last very long. Old money starts with Abe meeting a nice old lady at his retirement home.
Look at us. We're staring at each other like a couple of stupid punk teenagers.
Oh, Grandpa's in love. He asks Bea out with some of her help, of course.
You'd think this would get easier with time.
Oh, it never does. They start dating and they're both so smitten with each other. It's the day of Bea's birthday and Abe's getting ready for it, but then Homer comes to take him on a nice day out.
I can't go. It's my girlfriend Bea's birthday. Well, happy birthday, B.
So, Homer thinks Grandpa's girlfriend is imaginary, and he doesn't listen to him. He forces him to go with him to a safari. Really? A safari in Springfield? Who'd want to buy those tickets? Well, I guess we know who. They take a wrong turn and end up in the middle of a bunch of lions.
This is much better than my girlfriend's birthday party.
Ah, the old people's sarcasm. Never gets old. They're stuck in the mud, so they spend the whole night there. And when Abe returns to the retirement center, he's met with bad news.
Bea passed away last night.
Oh!
Jasper tells him her heart failed, but Grandpa knows that's not true.
Amy says she died of a burst ventricle, but I know she died of a broken heart.
Grandpa can be annoying, but seeing him this hurt makes your eyes tear up instantly. At Bea's funeral, Homer expresses his condolences to Grandpa, but he won't hear it.
You made me miss the last precious moments of Bea's life. I'll never speak to you again!
Grandpa, I know having a girlfriend at your age must be special, but Homer's your son. After the funeral, an attorney shows up at Abe's room to tell him that Bea left all her money to him, $106,000. Well, Grandpa, you sure know how to pick 'em. Abe calls Homer, and just as he was getting his hopes up about his dad forgiving him, Grandpa crushes them in one fell swoop. He tells Homer that he inherited the money.
And I just had to tell you that you're not getting 1 thin dime!
Oh, he just knew that'd crush Homer. Grandpa starts going out and spending the money, but none of it brings him any joy. Bea's ghost comes to visit him, and she tells him he should reconsider the way he spends the money, and also he should reconnect with Homer. He listens to her. After all, he misses him too.
Dad! Donnie boy! Is there room at your table for a foolish old man?
Well, there isn't actually, but they can move a chair. Grandpa tells the family that he wants to give the money to someone who actually needs it, and he's gonna let people come to him and plead their case. This doesn't end too good, because, well, people are selfish. Lisa told him that none of the people who came to him deserve the money.
The people who deserve it are on the streets, and they're in the slums.
This touches Grandpa, but he realizes he doesn't have enough money to help everyone, so he decides that the best thing he could do is gamble with the money so he can win more. When Homer hears of this, he runs to stop him from losing all of the money.
Holy moly! You're winning! Beat it, boy! You're cramping my style!
Of course he's winning. That old charm counts for something, eh? Grandpa tells Homer a quote about winning and losing, and how it doesn't matter, because in the end...
You'll be a man, my son. You'll be a bonehead, come on!
For the first time, Homer's right. Grandpa says to put it all on 36, and Homer prevents him from moving the chips. And what do you know? It lands on 00.
You saved me from losing all my money. For the first time in my life, I'm glad I had children.
I believe Homer has never had that thought. He asks him if he figured out who he's going to give the money to, and he says that he did.
Come on in. Dignity's on me, friends.
The best way to spend your money is to share it with friends. I wish upon all Simpsons characters to have a natural death, but unfortunately, some of them couldn't have that fate. Homer contributes to the death of Maude Flanders. I don't want to say it's his fault completely, but it kind of is. Alone again, Natura-Diddily starts with the Simpsons watching a car race, and then the Flanders show up. Homer is surprised that Flanders is also involved in something cool.
Well, I don't care for the speed, but I can't get enough of that safety gear.
Of course he comes for the helmets. They'll announce they'll be firing shirt cannons at anyone who wants a free shirt. And of course, Homer starts screaming.
I need a shirt! Give me a shirt!
Oh, that's disgusting. Put a shirt on it. Maude tells Ned she can't take no more of Homer's torso, so she's gonna go and get some hot dogs. But as she was coming back, they shoot the cannons, but Homer ducks.
Ooh, a bobby pin!
Maude?
And Homer just became a murderer.
Oh my lord, she's dead!
It's funeral day, and Marge reminds Homer that Ned and his boys are gonna need them in this time.
You know what that means?
I know. No more being a jerk.
That's gonna be rough. Homer wants to help Flanders feel better and get back in the game, so he starts secretly taping him.
Do you even have a job anymore?
I think it's pretty obvious that I don't.
Desperately devious. Homer finishes his movie and shows it to Ned, who is not very pleased with his ATM pin shown, and his, showing.
Oh, I would date Ned in a second if I was a woman or gay.
The man with the chest.
But you gotta give it to Homer. He did show the most important and interesting parts of Ned, but he says he's not ready to get back into it. It'd be like cheating on Maude.
Oh, wake up, Ned. You think Maude isn't dating in heaven?
I'm not sure that's how that works, but okay. Ned goes on a couple of dates, but they all end terribly. Although, his date with Edna was going great, but he expressed his concern about her using him to get Skinner jealous, and he was right.
Edna, this is childish.
Fine, then hang up.
I will hang up when he leaves.
No, not childish at all. Ned feels it's hopeless, and he's never gonna find love again. Later, when he was praying, he asked God if maybe his decision to take Maude away was a bit wrong.
Could you just give me some kind of sign? Anything. Well, I've had it.
Is Ned turning away from God? No, it can't be. The next morning, his boys wake up because they're gonna be late for church.
I'm not going to church today, and I may not go to church tomorrow.
Oh, he's serious.
Sorry.
No, he's not. He gets to church and hears music coming from inside. A beautiful Christian lady was singing on stage, and Ned really felt it. Afterwards, he went to talk to her. She asks him if he wants to grab a coffee, and he says he's not quite ready, but they make plans for a later date.
My name's Ned Flanders, and I'm here every week. Rain or shine.
Even if he lost Maude, he still has his faith. Even if you die, you leave parts of yourself on Earth with the people who will carry you on in their memories. Well, not everyone can say that. Homer decides to turn his life around, but being on top is not all that glamorous. C.E. Doe starts on Valentine's Day, and Homer's getting everything ready for the big night.
We'll be upstairs in the bedroom making love. rope ladders in case there's a fire.
Great excuse, they totally bought it. But Marge just can't do it tonight because she's too tired.
It's St. Valentine's Day. God wants us to do it.
Is it really God, or is it just Homer being desperate? He can't sleep knowing Marge rejected him on Valentine's Day, so he goes out for a walk and sees a billboard for some night classes, and goes to check them out. When he's kicked out of How to Strip for Your Wife class, he ends up in a successmanship class.
What would you say if I offered you the secret of true success?
Wipe me down and sign me up.
Is he really that desperate? And the answer must be yes. The teacher starts telling them about their mistakes and why they suck so bad.
Give me your hand. It's okay.
Thank you, teacher!
He's an old man. I sure hope he survived that fall.
You see that car out there? That's a Bentley Mark 12.
Nope, he's dead. Rip Hans the Mole Man, your death was unimportant, just like your character. The teacher convinces Homer he can be on top of the world if he follows the steps written in his book.
Tip 1. Live each day like it was your last. I don't want to die. I'm so young.
I don't think that's what he meant. The second tip was not to let anything stand in your way.
Listen up, life obstacles.
That's not a nice way to talk to your family.
Do your homework. Don't do so much homework. Learn to talk. You, let's love now.
Wow, Homer the go-getter. The next step was to point out problems at the workplace to the boss. But when Homer does this, he's laughed at by Mr. Burns.
I'll just throw back my legs and pollute my britches with delight.
Well, what did he expect to get from him, a raise? Well, yes he did. His friends tell him he should get revenge on Mr. Burns, but Homer's way too clumsy and goofy to do that. But he overhears Mr. Burns and Smithers talking.
The government found out you dumped nuclear waste under Legoland.
Legoland? Really? Mr. Burns explains that if the government found out anything, he'd be in the clear, because the legal owner of the plant is his pet canary.
If you get rid of that bird, Burns is at your mercy.
Get rid of a bird? No way. Their eyes are so expressive.
Homer wouldn't hurt a fly, let alone a bird. Only his son. He tells Marge all about his troubles, and she tells him to listen to the little voice in his head.
Do it, Dad. You could get a less crappy car.
Well, not that little voice. Homer and Bart sneak into the plant and let the bird go. Now, Homer's plan is in motion. He tells Mr. Burns that inspection is coming, so he has to think of someone who he'll throw under the bus for everything wrong with the plant.
Hello?
Why are you looking at me like that?
He signs everything over to Homer, and Homer uses this opportunity to the best of his ability. He fires Mr. Burns.
There never were any nuclear inspectors. Check and mate. Now king me.
He really doesn't know how any of this stuff works, does he? Homer tells the workers that, unlike Mr. Burns, he will respect them, and they'll have better working conditions. But being the plant owner isn't an easy job. He has to fire a bunch of people and patch up a lot of things if he doesn't want to go to jail.
Oh, I need a vacation.
This is your vacation.
Well, Homer, you wanted to be on top, you're on top. How do you like it now? He's always at work, he can't spend any time with his family.
Bart's growing up without me. He won't be 10 forever.
Well, not exactly. Mr. Burns shows up and decides to take Homer on a little trip. He takes him to a cemetery to show him all the people he cared about but couldn't spend any time with because of his job.
If I keep putting work first, I'll lose everyone I care about. Just like you did.
Then Mr. Burns shoots him with a tranquilizer and starts burying him in a mausoleum. But that takes time and Homer wakes up.
I don't know why you're trying to steal a plant back. I didn't even want it.
Well, all that building was for nothing then. Homer goes back to his old job. Don't know how, but he does.
From now on, my only ambition is to be the world's greatest dad.
And then he and Bart start fighting.
You see, this is the stuff Mom won't do with me.
Yeah, Marge won't choke her children. What a bad mom. But this is not the only time we buried poor Hans. Homer spends all money on a present for himself and manages to ruin Christmas. 'Tis the 15th season, begins a few days before Christmas, and Homer takes his family Christmas shopping.
Keyring for Marge, keyring for Bart, that thing for me.
Key rings for your family, but sure, get that extravagant thing for yourself.
If I buy this, I won't have anything left for a Christmas tree.
Don't strain your brains, he bought it. The family is on its way to buy a Christmas tree, but Homer only has $2 in his pocket.
Everyone just relax, lock your doors, don't make eye contact with anyone.
Yeah, because that'll get everyone to calm down. Homer buys the driest tree he can find, and it looks awful.
Homer, is there something you're not telling us?
Marge finds the present Homer got for himself, and she realizes he spent all the money on it.
If I'm happy, I'm less abusive to the rest of you.
No, Dad. This time you were just plain selfish.
It's gotta hurt when your family thinks you're the most selfish man on earth. Later, Marge scolds him for what he did, and she told him that he only cares about himself himself, but he is 100% sure that that isn't the case.
I cared what you thought once you found out.
Yeah, keep digging yourself a grave. Marge kicks him out of the bedroom, so he sleeps on the couch and watches A Christmas Carol. He gets scared that his life is gonna pan out just like in the movie.
It's like looking at a cartoon version of myself.
Yeah, just like that. The next morning, Homer vows to change his ways and become good. In fact, the nicest man in town.
You've made that promise before.
Yes, but this time I'm sober.
Does that mean his promise is gonna stick? Homer starts helping people out, giving to the poor and sick, and even sharing his food.
Oh, your thoughtfulness tastes so good, and tears are the sweetest sauce.
Homer tells Marge that she's starting to creep him out. Well, no wonder. He's never shown an ounce of selflessness to that woman. Homer even starts helping out in church.
I'm afraid you're a distant second this week.
I'm not looking for glory or wealth.
Is that jealousy I sense, Ned? His children ask him if he's jealous of Homer. Even they saw right through him.
Yeah, maybe just a tad, Todd.
I'm jealous of girls because they get to wear dresses.
Okay, Ned, stay calm. One problem at a time. Ned sees that his position has been usurped, and he decides to one-up Homer. He gives presents to everyone in town.
Pathetic Flanders, thinking he can buy people's love with thoughtful gifts.
But Homer now wants to one-up Ned. Lisa tells him he shouldn't be doing that and that Christmas has become too materialistic.
In fact, as a Buddhist, I believe people would be a lot happier without presents.
Homer tells Lisa that she has given him something to think about. Please don't come up with a plan to steal everyone's presents so they can feel the joy of Christmas.
I'll take away their presents, then they'll be happy. Thanks, Buddha.
Oh, God. Homer steals the presents, but instead of happy caroling, he hears an angry mob coming his way. They start throwing snowballs at him, and when Ned tries to come in and save him, he's met with the same fate.
Wait a minute, everyone! There's your Christmas up there.
This doesn't seem very godly to me.
That's my last flare. Somebody better come soon.
Well, Hans, we bury you once again. Rest in peace. Everyone forgets what they were mad about, and Homer leaves us off with this sentence.
A dude was born who most of us think was magic. But others don't, and that's cool.
All in all, it's a good Christmas.
Not even Moe's annual suicide attempt can ruin it.
I ain't got all day, drama queen.
Why does no one take the man seriously? He might really do it.
You'll all wish you was nicer to me. Yeah, I ain't gonna jump.
Oh, that's why. It's sad when someone close to you passes away, but it's nice when they leave something valuable behind. One of Homer's closest friends dies. Cremains of the day opens in Moe's bar and Moe loses a bet, so he kicks everyone out.
You too, Slumpo.
Guys, I think Larry's dead.
Who's Larry again? The next day, the Simpsons are going to the funeral, and Homer is complaining about having to go, but Marge tells him he has to pay his respects.
You spent more time with Larry than your own kids.
That's a sad truth. When they go inside, they see that almost no one showed up.
I'm so glad you guys could make it.
How could we not? Larry was around.
Such a nice thing to say about someone who you spent every waking moment with. Reverend Lovejoy shows up and asks whose funeral it is. The piano player lady describes Larry as a sad, balding drunk who hung out at Moe's.
Got it. Homer Simpson was a beloved pillar of this community.
Well, who's gonna blame him? She did kind of describe Homer. Marge sees that none of Homer's friends, and Homer included, never really got to know Larry.
Marge, Larry just didn't fit into our band of bros.
The four of us are closer than close.
I'd like to try to see any of them try to name the birthdays of the other three. Homer says that Larry wasn't part of their group.
All he ever wanted was a simple human connection, but instead, he died unloved in a bar.
The guys stop to think if they're actually such terrible people. Marge says she's most disappointed in Lenny.
He just always struck me as a sensitive guy with a good heart.
I did?
Maybe Homer's doubts about Marge marrying Lenny after he dies aren't so unfounded as we thought. Larry's mom approaches them and gives them a picture Larry had in his room. It's all 5 of them at a waterfall.
We should all take Larry's ashes there, together.
Huh?
It's the sensitive thing to do.
Homer, you better step in.
It sounds stressful. And I love stress?
Sheesh, when Marge looks at you like that, you'll do anything. They pack up and go and they sleep over at a motel. There, they find out all 4 of them believe different stories about the afterlife.
Ghosts ain't real, huh?
Yes, they are. I believe that Larry's ghost is hovering above us.
Okay, spooky, but okay. Seems like Lenny. Carl believes that after you die, your soul becomes cosmic energy.
Until your consciousness is reborn as a creature that befits your metaphysical station.
Okay, that's a lot of bull, Carl. Moe's version is quite depressing. He says that when you die, there's just a silent void.
Nothing. And it's not even a regular nothing. It's an absence of everything.
No wonder none of his attempts ever succeeded. And Homer, well, with Marge's influence,
All right. wrong? Why have questions when we have the Bible?
The only Christian answer. The next morning, Homer accidentally knocks over Larry, and he sees that his urn is filled with sapphires.
He must have been moving stolen gems across the northern border.
Moe convinces Homer not to tell Lenny and Carl about it, but they eventually find out when the urn falls out of the car.
There were sapphires in Larry's urn?
And you knew?
Why so surprised? But in that moment, a sheriff shows up and arrests them for jewel smuggling.
I'll get in the frunk.
Oh, front trunk. Now I get it.
Oh, Homer. They start fighting because they don't want to go down for Moe's and Homer's smuggling. They wonder if this is what they look like when they're completely sober.
And to think all Larry wanted out of life was to be part of this friend group.
What a dumb dead chump.
Nice way to talk about a dead man. They hear the sheriff talking to his boss, who turns out to be Fat Tony. He tells them to let them go, but unfortunately, he misunderstands.
Excellent work, Mickey No Loose Ends.
Got it. No loose ends.
Oh, he's got to pay more attention to the nicknames. The guys realize that they're gonna die, and they start doubting their afterlife theories.
What if Moe was right and it's just a void?
Guys, I think Carl's stupid energy crap is real.
But then Homer finds a flare gun and fires it when the sheriff opens the trunk, or frunk to be precise. But this makes the car go down a cliff.
Either we all survive, or we all find out what the afterlife is. Together. What's just the void?
They agree to jump on 3, but Homer doesn't jump, because in his words, you jump on go, not on 3. But Larry's urn also falls down and gets stuck in the tire and stops the car.
Larry saved your life?
Well, if they could save his. They realize they got to the waterfall, but it looks nothing like the picture.
I think I know where Larry really wanted us to take his death dust and bone chunks.
Of course.
Welcome home, Larry. Enjoy your special place.
That's a nice picture. Too bad they couldn't enjoy it while he was still alive. Wouldn't we all wish to know how we'll die? And when? Well, Bart got a glimpse into that. Bart's in a coma, and he sees how everyone's destinies will pan out. Flanders Ladder starts when Bart pranks Lisa and then posts pictures of her online.
You scared me and denied me a genius test.
Bart tells Lisa that he got an opportunity to prank her, so he absolutely had to do it. I disagree on that, but Bart will be Bart. Lisa tells him that she will get revenge on him sometime. Later that night, the internet crashed because of the storm, and Bart suggested asking Flanders for the password, but Homer says that'd be rude.
Boy, let's go borrow his router.
Because that's so much better. But when Bart was climbing the ladder, lightning hits him, and he falls into a coma. Dr. Hibbert says that lightning victims are highly suggestible.
Your kind words could turn his coma into a trip to Hawaii.
This gives Lisa the idea to make his coma into a nightmare, so she can avenge her bruised ego.
You're gonna see the one thing everyone's afraid of. Death and dead people. That's right, buddy.
Well, that's way worse than what he did to her. In Bart's dream, he wakes up, but he doesn't realize that he's in a coma.
Blood Flanders, I thought you were dead.
I am.
And the nightmare begins. Maude haunts him wherever he goes.
Got to talk to me, Bart.
Leave me alone. Leave me alone!
Bart takes refuge from Maude by calling on the power of Homer's socks. That was actually a brilliant idea. I'll try that if I ever become haunted. Bart goes to see a therapist, but then he realizes that he's also dead.
Why is this happening to me?
But you have a gift.
I doubt he sees it as a gift, more like a curse. The therapist tells him he can help ghosts move on, or get revenge on people who wronged them. He agrees to do it, but he didn't know he'd have so much work on his hands.
Didn't anybody finish their business before dying?
Apparently not. Lisa is starting to get worried because Bart's not waking up, and Dr. Hibbert tells her that if he's been hearing negative things, it could lead to permanent damage to his brain, or even kill him. Uh-oh. Bart eventually gets to Maude, and she wants to get revenge on the man who caused her death.
You? For standing up?
No, your father, your stupid, stupid father!
Bart tells Maude that some people can grow when they die, but not her. Well, he didn't lie. Bart arranges for Maude to get her revenge, but he kills Homer in the process.
All the ghosts have been helped.
Except one.
Dad, you weren't supposed to die.
Well, that's unfortunate. Homer wants to go into the light, but Bart doesn't want him to leave. So he shoots a cannon into the light, and it disperses, which brings Homer back to life.
Oh, you little life-saving, heaven-converting!
Everything is as it should be. Lisa is so worried that Bart might not wake up, she begins apologizing for being mean to him, begging him to come back. He wakes up and asks her if she was by his side the whole time.
Were you putting those bad dreams in my head?
Yes.
Can you teach me how to do it?
I guess.
Well, no wonder he's not mad. That was the ultimate prank. Lisa asks him if he saw anything else in his dream, and he says he saw how everyone was gonna die. Homer died in a shootout, Marge died as one of Flanders' many wives, Bart died because of one of his pranks on Skinner, and Lisa, well...
Oh my god! Now I realize this has all been a waste of time.
Yeah, death will make you realize that life was a waste of time. Just kidding, but I really wish to know what she meant by that. Someone, please enlighten me. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Leave your thoughts in the comments about which death from The Simpsons was the most unexpected.